Good day, my loves. Good day, good day, good day, good day, good day. I hope you are well. This is Spiritually Savage. And if no one has told you today, let me be the first to say that I love you. I do. Simply because you resonate where I'm at and you're like, what is going on? I keep saying that even though I know what's going on, but I don't know everything that's going on. I hope you guys are well, though. This is Spiritually Savage sending you some love, peace of mind, and some abundance, okay? Normally I say love in your heart, but today we calling in our abundance, okay? We're calling it in. It is time to pay the piper. They say, yeah, it's time. We're calling in our abundance. But I hope you guys are doing well. Let me know how you're doing. For like 300 videos, I've talked incessantly because I had to get it out. Because basically I was like, y'all were like my big sister or my great auntie, because I had to get it out. And there was no one to talk to. And I'm used to talking. I have highly placed Gemini. So, I love to talk and I love to dissect. And so let me tell y'all. Okay. So I've been having a lot of epiphanies. I've been having a lot of revelations, y'all. I really have. And I'm like, what? So yesterday, let me share y'all. Let me let y'all in on a little bit. Let me share a personal story. Yesterday, I was actually looking for an old friend, actually an old lover. And, I'm really friends. Not really anymore, but I never felt like if I broke up with somebody that we couldn't be friends, right? I'm that person. Hey, not where we can hang out and you come over and chill and you introduce my boyfriend. Not that type, but we can be cordial. We can still have a an adult relationship without it being weird or awkward, right? And so I was snooping, trying to see, because he had disappeared just like I did on social media, but he did it before I did. And so I was just, curious, on this walk, especially when you recognize when certain people have done things and you didn't recognize it for what it was when it was happening. And so I was curious, right? And then it led me down another rabbit hole. And then I found something out, child. Oh, and it was a doozy. It's a doozy. So much of a doozy is that it led me to the ultimate revelation for today. Like, I have them all throughout the day, but this one is the ultimate right now, y'all. Hold on, let me get some sunshine up in here. Let's get some sunshine. Can I do it this way? I want y'all to get the glow. I want y'all to get the glow. Yeah, when I say. So remember the Undercover Narcissist? The male version. The masculine. He's a male. It could be a feminine with masculine energy, but no, this is a male, and I believe he has feminine energy. I'm not quite sure. Anywho, something led me down to look him up. And I found a podcast, y'all, with him and his significant other of several years. So she says, right? And I believe her. So I found it yesterday, but I listened to the beginning of it and I was disgusted because I know the veil behind them, okay? Intimately. And what they don't tell you though, should I say? I'm going to say it. So for those of you who this is a side note, let's park that other conversation for a minute, and this is a side note because it just came to me. You do know that if you have had black magic done on you, right, by a person of the opposite sex that you've been intimate with, and they've done sexual black magic on you, and you are a chosen one, that when those tides turn, and they indeed will, because troubles don't last always, right? And God always will have his say. her say, their say. Okay. And when I say there, I'm not just speaking of God, the ultimate, the most high, the creator. I'm speaking of my ancestors too, because they're helping me guide. They're helping me guide my way through this maze, through this matrix, right? But it just dawned on me that because this place revolves around balance, when they do sexual magic on you, and 9 times out of 10, in order for it to work, it has to be raw. I'm not trying to be as graphic, but it does. Okay? That's how the demons get attached to your spirit. But when they do that, and you survive, and if you are a chosen one, you indeed will survive, do know that when that wheel turns, the karmic wheel, they say, yeah, that wheel, when it does turn, balance has to be paid. Remember, the energy you give out has to be returned. It has to have a balance. Now, if the person dies and they're doing that, then you know what? That's what it is, right? But if you survive, and we will survive, you will survive. It doesn't matter what you're going through at this moment. You may be saying, listen, you don't know where I've been. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what just happened to me, and I don't. But I know what I went through. And I know what happened to me, and it was disgusting. It was deplorable. It was diabolical. And if you are on this channel, I can only, and I don't want to imagine, but I can only guess what has happened to you, my love, and what you have experienced. But I'm here to tell you that there is really a higher power that is in control. And you're like, well, if it's in control, then why let it happen to me? No, you've created it with the energy and the trauma that you have in your body, so you need to clean that up. It's not all about what God can do. We have to do the work ourselves too. And you survived some things that were just probably unimaginable. Like, if you were to tell your story, somebody would be like, you lying. Or they probably think it's from a movie. But I would believe you. I would believe you. If no one has told you that, I believe you. What you say is true. If you are a chosen one. And that only means as if you've lived in your heart space. Chosen ones they have big hearts. That's basically it. They have big hearts. Let me put it simply like that. When people, and that comes with certain things that come with favor from God. Yes, definitely. It comes with spiritual gifts. But basically, they live from their heart space. That is why they are magical. That is why they are gifted. And that is why they are blessed. That is why we are blessed. That is why you are blessed. Even if it doesn't feel like it right now. Right now, you're in growing pains. And they do hurt. They really do hurt. Okay, but if they're doing sexual magic on you and you survive, and you will, know that there is a reversal process, and you ain't even got to do nothing. You probably ain't even aware of it until I just said something to you now, because I wasn't. So whoever did magic on me, they have to pay up because I survived. Their magic didn't end in my demise. It didn't. Okay, back to the story. So anywho, I found the podcast. And so after I listened to a clip of it yesterday, I listened to the whole thing this morning. I did. I listened to it. I sure did. And I remember conversations when I used to have with the undercover narcissistic male. And he used to say things like, when I used to talk and he used to listen, and I used to say something clever or something, he used to be like, I'm going to use that. No, you're not. That's mine. I said, I'm writing it down right now. I remember saying that. So he only talked to me and came around in order to, and have sex with me, basically, in order to cipher my energy, my healing. And I'm listening to his podcast right now, and he's talking about, and he's not even all the way there, y'all. He's not even like, you can tell he's a fraud. He's a fraud. He's a fraud. I really want to know, because he's supposed to be showing up on this podcast again in the next month or so. I really want to know that God has it in my favor, that I go ahead and know when that is. I'm not going to do no research because I have other things to do with my energy, but I'm putting it out there. I'm putting energy and intent behind these words, because I would love for me to just happen upon this podcast, which is actually going to be on camera, on film, and I would love to partake in it. I really would. And they're talking about SEL, social emotional learning is what he's talking about. And I really would love to know how a narcissist can even preach that. So I say all that to say that when I found that information out, and after I listened to the video today, the podcast today, it was like, okay, target assumed. And I'm not even talking about him personally. I'm talking about his ideology. Because I know him. And just like he used my gifts and used my energy against me to know me, without me even having to try, I know him intimately. Like on 1,000. I see him. And so, I was like, okay. I was like, okay. And then that led to something else, because, if you've been watching my videos, you'll see that it's kind of like, I just called it a revert back. And it's not so much as a revert back, and that's what I wrote in my journal today, as it's so much as that when God wants all the glory, and he wants you to see what you're made of and what he made you out to be, he will strip you of everything that anybody had to do with. Prime example, when I first started this journey, I had already been working out and everything like that, but I would still have not sleep, but I was still not all the way aware of my surroundings. I wasn't aware. And so one of the gyms that I was working out, I do believe he's an undercover narcissist, and that he has some sort of strong emotions against women. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say it like that, because I don't know too much yet. Well, I do, but you know how that goes. He has some strong emotions against women. And, just like Freud, 9 times out of 10, it stems from childhood and the mother aspect, right? So it's kind of like, when I say revert, because it felt like that I was going backwards, and I've expressed that in my videos, and I definitely expressed that in my journals. Like, why am I feel like I'm going back? Like, I gained the weight back. I'm doing the old habits, the 2 old habits that I've been talking about when I was like, straight and good. Then it's like I had stopped walking, but I've already started back walking. So I understand and understand now what I'm about to say to y'all. And it was just like, okay, why am I going backwards? And then without me, with me having compassion for myself and knowing and understanding that there is a lesson in everything, right? And so I'm like, there were moments where I was getting frustrated with myself, like, what is wrong with you? Blah, blah, blah. But I remember those weren't my thoughts, because I wouldn't talk to myself that way. If I wouldn't talk to a child that way, who is just learning and becoming into themselves and will make mistakes, why would I talk to myself that way when I am becoming a new me, when I'm shedding the old life that I used to have that was filled with trauma bonding, narcissistic spider web, unsupportive, unloving people, if I'm shedding that old skin, why am I going back? And it was because it was still filled with other people's energy that meant me no good, right? And I had to see some things for myself. I recognize and realize that God brings me to things like to the minute, to the to the nook and crannies. It's like I have to know something intimately, no matter what it is, now, and experience it from the beginning to the end. And so now I'm in a space where, no, I'm not excited about where my weight is, but I'm content with where I'm at. And so I started walking like incessantly, probably about a week, maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I started going around twice, and I had never done that before. So again, remember when I said every day I start doing something new. So 2 weeks ago, I started doing, or a week ago, yeah, about 2 weeks ago, I started doing my route twice, and I never did that before because I'm retraining myself and retraining my body from the ground up again. So it's kind of like, and then I picked up all the weight that I lost when I was working at Lovely Body. It's like, how does that go? How does that work? Like, I was so irritated at myself, but then I had to recognize and bring myself down and like, okay, well, you know what? You did it before, so we know you can do it again. But can you do it? And maybe the challenge is you doing it without that support that you always feel like you need, like someone cheering you on, someone egging you, someone competing with you. How about you compete with yourself? And I'm like, huh? This is me talking to myself. So y'all get in the full blown out conversation of how I talk to myself. And I'm like, huh? And I'm like, I've never worked out by myself. I don't like it. I really don't like it. But so what? And in my head, I'm like, what are you going to do? You're just going to sit around until you get the capital or something happens for you to go ahead and then you be able to work out at the gym. And in that case, you're still gaining more weight and it's still going to be even more difficult. Why not be active now? Why not get out there and do something now? Why not put that energy behind what you want to do? And that way it'll have momentum. And so I'm like, okay, so I started walking. I ran one time all the way around without stopping. I know I can do it, but I want to pace myself because I want to build myself up. Even though I know I'm stronger than I already believe, I know that I proved it to myself, but I still want to take the extra step so I can absorb it myself instead of me always rushing and pushing through, because that's normally what I do. I normally just rush through because I want to get to the end of the goal instead of appreciating the journey. So on this moment, I'm appreciating the journey. I'll do a little stretch here and there. I do a little yoga stretch here. I'll do a little samba. I do a little dance. I do a little twerk. Yeah, I do that too. I do a little African dance. I do a little Afro beats. I do a little reggae. I dance. And so it's like I'm coming back into myself. And then I had to think, am I a little depressed? Because I didn't even want to make my homemade butter the other day. And I'm like, well, why don't I want to make my homemade butter? And then it's like, signs of depression when it's like you're always smiling. And I'm always smiling, right? So how would anybody know I'm depressed? So I have to know those signs myself. So I checked myself and I was like, okay, no, we finna dance. I don't lay in the bed. I can't do that. I make my bed up every day. So that wouldn't be a sign. But there's other little different nuances. There's little energetic ticks that you can pay attention to within yourself, not within other people. I'm talking about within yourself. Spiritual journey is about yourself, right? Anywho, I just had another flashback thought with him using the term. I may be irritated today, y'all, so let me just vent with y'all for a minute, please. And, he was talking about indoctrination. You all the way wrong, bruh. All the way wrong. You've been indoctrinated. Your whole family's been indoctrinated. You are a narcissistic asshole. And he's using the words like indoctrination. But the thing about it is that when you steal somebody else's gifts, and that table turn and the wheel of fortune do go around, and God has the last say, all those gifts come right back to me tenfold. And I used to wonder why I couldn't remember. I used to read the dictionary like no BS. Not because I wanted to, but because when I got in trouble, that's what my dad and my papa, not my actual daddy, but my papa and my mom, well, actually my papa, would make us do. Because if my mom, it was, whoop their ass and put them on punishment. But literally, he would make me write out definitions in the dictionary. And then we had the encyclopedia. And I used to always wonder, like, why I would get stuck on certain words or why I didn't remember certain things. And Mind you, this is at the age of 30 when things started going crazy, because I knew my vocabulary is prolific. My vocabulary is like, but it was like I was stuck on just a few words that I could only remember and incorporate into conversations. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Everything was confusing, y'all. It really was. I just talked for a very long time, and I know I was talking fast, so I hope y'all got that. But this is a time for you, okay? You have to take all, so anyway, you have to take all your energy and put it towards yourself to heal yourself and to figure out what your new self likes to do. Because the person you're killing off your old self right now. With every time you turn, that's why your ego feels like it's trying to protect you, because your ego is dying, okay? That's why it's so painful. It feels like you're taking an emotional death, but you're not. You're actually about to be reborn, okay? Except for it's not happening physically, like you're dying and then coming back to life. Like, we're not Yeshua. We're not. But you can have a spiritual death. And you're killing off the old part of you that no longer needs to exist. Why? Because you can see people for who they are now. You don't need to protect yourself. What you see is actual. If you see someone shapeshift into a demon and then you see that you just see their avatar, no, you saw what they are. If you see someone and they're disfigured or they look, morphed or something, you're seeing it. And vice versa be true, because even though those exist, I believe fairies exist and all those mermaids and stuff. I really do. We would be so ignorant to believe that we are the only beings. And who's to say that you're all the way human? Have you ever thought about that? Why are you so strange? Why do you think differently? Are you like me? I am the most different person in my entire family. I'm not just speaking of my immediate family. I'm talking about extended family too. God, sisters, God, brothers, cousins, first cousins, second cousins, third cousins. I've not met anyone that vibes with me within my family. I may come across a couple that can vibe on certain aspects of my intellect when I'm speaking of certain things. But to stay with me and go vast with me, no, I've not. And that just leads me to know that my tribe is out there. I don't know who they are. I don't even know what they look like. But I know God would not put me on this planet to do what I'm supposed to do by myself, even though I'm by myself, if you get what I'm saying. We are by ourselves, and we will learn to be by ourselves and learn to do things for ourselves and to rely on ourselves and our intuition to get us through, right? But we all know that old saying, and it's in the 108 laws too. I was looking around to see if I put my books on my bed yet, but I didn't, because I was going to tell you what law that was. Basically, it's like the Bible and the text came out of the 108 laws. It's man's interpretation of the 108 laws. But to me, the 108 laws are very clear and concise. But you do have people that are not intellectually sound. And so it's like, man was like, okay, well, let's dumb it down. But in the way of them dumbing it down, they made loopholes, is basically what they did, and had people going against themselves and the 108 laws, which ultimately trapped their spirits here, trapped their souls here. Because once you come here, you are in an agreement. There is a contract, not between you and the people, not between your spiritual family and you, but there is a contract between you and the Creator. The creator of this domicile, the creator of this planet, the creator of whatever we are living in and on, okay? There is a creator. God, Muhammad, whatever you want to call him, there is a creator. And before there was the Bible, before there was the Holy Quran, before there was the 10 Commandments, okay? Before there was any of that, even before there was the 42 laws of Ma'at, okay? Before all of those things that were created by civilizations that lived prior to us, there were the 108 laws of the universe. Okay? And so that's what I've been studying for the past few months. The 108 laws of the universe. And I got stuck on one. And I had to do research to see how Sway, how could it be possible that someone can voluntarily or involuntarily take on someone else's karma? How is that possible? By being an undercover narcissist. That's how. By being part of a narcissistic spider's web that spiritually they are attacking you. And how that comes out in the 3D is by them not supporting you, by them gaslighting you. All of that stuff, by them gang stalking you. That is what they're doing. That's how it manifests. That's how they sacrifice you. And you're an empath. And you were bred by religion and your family and cultivated as the scapegoat. So now you're like, oh, love everybody, help everybody. They're your family. Bring them along with you. You can't leave them behind. No man left behind. But all the while, you drowning. And the only way God can wake you up to see what's going on around you is to bring you to your knees. So you can see how many will rise up to the occasion to help lift you up off your knees. How many people have helped you get up off your knees that you've helped walk and talk and eat your whole life? That's a question for you, not for me. I've answered my questions already. So when I ask those questions, it's not me asking of myself. I am ministering to myself and to you, but in this moment, I am giving you the knowledge that I have come across. Okay? You have to look at those things. Your spiritual family will be in alignment with you, your thoughts, your activities. You know, y'all not going to be the same, but y'all will be in alignment. Y'all will be spiritually evenly yoked. I'm not going to just say evenly yoked anymore because I know how I interpreted that phrase and it was never broken down to me and how to look for it spiritually in the spiritual meaning. So I kept it on the surface like, oh, okay, we like the same music. Oh, okay, you like to go out too. Oh, okay, you. That's how I kept it. Oh, you believed in God too? That's how I kept it. I kept it service. I didn't care if you believed in Muhammad or not. You believed in God. And a lot of people think that when they say evenly yoked that it means your religions. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. All around the world, people of different religions resonate with each other. Okay? And they still can make it work. So it's not, that's even surface when you get to, oh, you believe in Jesus, but I believe in Muhammad. That's another way that it's divisive. It divides us, okay? But really, in essence, what it means is basically, do you have a heart? Do you have compassion? Do you have love for other people? Do you believe it takes a village to raise a child? Do you believe in corporal punishment? Because I don't believe in that anymore, okay? You know, things like that. That should be the basis of whether or not you get married. How do you see raising your children? Sending them to, he doesn't even realize, I'm sorry, I'm going back, because he doesn't even realize, him and his counterpart don't even realize that the indoctrination didn't just start now. He's like, I believe that right now they're indoctrinated. No. The indoctrination started at home. It didn't start in school. Who is your family? What sect are they with? What cult do they believe in? Your actions and their actions will tell you. My actions was way different. Now, if you look at what I've been doing for the past 3 months, you'd be like, oh no, you're just like them. No, 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 no. I just had to experience some things. Trust and believe. I am in tune with my dark side. I am. And I know when it's me and when it's not. And sometimes I allow it to be. It's that trust. It's that, I was about to say, it's that trust. It's that just. I don't know, but that's how it has to be. In order for me to learn the lessons that I need to grow. That's how I look at it. And I told y'all before that I know I was being petty. And so today I take that vow that I'm no longer in that petty. I'm no longer in that pettiness. It is crazy because when I recognize it, I didn't see it in the beginning. I didn't see it as being petty. Actually, I saw it as, like, well, why wouldn't I? I did it for them type thing. But then I recognized I was being petty. And so it was like, okay, well, I don't have to be petty anymore. I got it out my system. I don't think I've ever been petty. Like, and the way I was doing it was just like, it was real petty. It was like my 10-year-old self was being petty. It wasn't even my 15-year-old self, because my 15-year-old self wasn't doing that stuff. It was like my 10-year-old self being petty. It was a 10-year-old person, the 10-year-old little girl that pushed my sister in the bushes because she had me standing outside while she talked to her boyfriend for hours and hours. And that was my revenge when I pushed her in the bushes in front of her boyfriend. And I laughed. She punched me in my back real hard, though. And I still was laughing because it was so worth it. It really was worth it. It was so worth it. That's the demon side of me. That's the evil side. That's that negative energy. Because that was wrong. Especially not knowing I embarrassed her. I remember his name and everything. I see it in my head. I remember standing in front of his corner. I remember. And every time I complained, we moved a little bit more. But it was funny. So listen, I found some stuff out, and it helped catapult me into the revelation that the only reason why I feel like I reverted back is because I did, but it was only to learn the lessons of who I am. Because even on the beginning journey, I still had, the last of the narcs. That's the female version. And then I had the undercover narc who was sending me subliminal messages, but then also telling me his truth. He was sending me subliminal y'all, I really thought and I'm gonna be truthful and I'm gonna be honest. I really am. I'm gonna be truthful and I'm gonna be honest. Because I had just started the twin flame journey, and these videos had kept coming up. But I was like, I ain't involved in that because I was focused on myself and I wanted to heal myself and I ain't had time for love and all that other stuff. And then one popped up and I clicked on it and then it made sense, right? And I was like, oh, okay. And I shared this with, the last narc, the feminine one. Didn't know that she was doing black magic on me and breaking us up because I believe